Hello, hello. Happy Saturday, guys. My name is Nakia Monique Wade, and I am the creator and host of A Seat at the Table. This is actually our 2-year anniversary. Seat at the Table started in June of 2023. God had laid it on my heart to put together really a monthly movement just so that we can empower and give back to the community. And when people hear the name A Seat at the Table, it's like, well, what does that really mean? I find that, we're all different. We come from different backgrounds in life, different economic backgrounds, different, I don't want to say statuses, but just different backgrounds. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you may not have the same access that maybe other people do. So instead of people trying to fight their way into places, fight their way into boardrooms, instead of trying to fight for your seat at the table, we're giving you a front row seat at the table. We've had people from all different backgrounds. Today is our second NFL player. We've had prophets. We've had celebrity wedding planners. We've had an actor come on that's played in some pretty notable movies. We've had a TV chef. We've had all types of entrepreneurs, people who focus in investing and startups and just everything that you could imagine, authors. But today I am super excited because I actually have an old colleague joining me today. He and I both went to the College of William and Mary. He was a football player, I was a cheerleader, and he's just an amazing human being. He's done a lot of really incredible things with his life. He has a heart for people. He is someone that can really challenge, motivate, and coach folks. And also, he did land a spot in the NFL. So want to give a warm welcome to Mr. Bryan Jean-Pierre. Thank you for making the time, sir.
Absolutely. I appreciate that amazing introduction.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share this on my social media.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take the time to reshare. Right. Let's rock and roll. Got this in the story. And as you guys are coming in, don't be shy. We don't bite. Let us know where you're joining from. I'm located in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and Bryan is joining us from the Atlanta area today, even though he bounces around between Atlanta and Miami.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's do this. Hi, Miss Rodette. It's good to see you. Miss Rodette is joining us from the Baltimore area.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. And as you guys are coming in, feel free to share this with friends. Feel free to share it in your stories. We're definitely ending strong as this is. And I did not mention that to you guys. This is actually a bittersweet. This is the final episode of A Seat at the Table. It has definitely ran its course. God has definitely shifted some things in my life, which I have not shared with you guys yet, but I'm definitely excited to, and we'll cross that bridge probably in a week or so. But come on in, let us know where you're joining from. Give us a shout out. Do not be shy. We do not bite. Here we go. All right, rocking and rolling. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let's dive on in. So the last time I saw you in person was many moons ago, right?
Absolutely.
We've been out of college for a little bit. It's been a while, but like I said, for those joining in, so Bryan used to play football at the College of William and Mary, and I used to cheerlead at the College of William and Mary. So let's start from there. I mean, so awesome football player at William and Mary, and then you ended up landing a spot in the NFL. What did that process look like for you? Because being in the NFL is like every boy's dream, especially someone who plays football. What did that process look like?
It was definitely an unorthodox process into finally being able to put on that NFL jersey. Um, Initially, there's something with between the NFL and the NFLPA, which is
Mhm.
called, which is basically like the union for the players in the NFL. And so for that year, there was something called a collect. There's something every year that's called the collective bargaining agreement. And
Mhm.
essentially, the responsibility of that is to make sure that the NFL players, the workers have a contract or multiple contracts that they agree upon that they will fulfill with the NFL, the owners. And
Mhm.
so, in order for the workers, same thing like a union, same thing like movie theater, or the drama industry, same thing as the acting industry, work industry. You can't be overworked, you can't be underpaid, you can't work every
Mhm.
day, like multiple things like that to protect those people.
Yeah.
And so that contract, that collective bargaining agreement, is to be renewed every, I believe, 10 years. And ironically enough, the year that I chose to come out of William and Mary was the year that they were in negotiations for that collective bargaining agreement. And
So,
that conversation doesn't always go amicably and
mhm.
smooth as people may want or may not even notice that it's happening. So there's just a lot of legal involved in that situation. And that specific year was a tough year for Orthodox recruiting, going out to colleges and touching base with people, having athletes come in from college and be interviewed. There were a lot of things that were not legally allowed to be done because of that not being set
Mhm.
and done for the next 7 years. So the year that I came out in the rest of my classes, a lot of us were not able to initially go straight into the NFL because that agreement was not set.
Okay.
I'd say I probably have one of the tougher paths to ever putting on a college jersey in my class, like the people in that year, than people decades before.
Mhm.
They weren't able to come up with an agreement. And so what happened, they had to stop work. So it's the same thing when you see Delta on strike and they're not working until they're heard or they're
Yeah.
met, or demands are met.
Mhm.
It's the same exact thing. And
Wow.
so players decided to not go to work. So literally, legitimately, NFL players were not reporting. They weren't allowed to report. And the NFL coaches were not allowed to contact players. That was one of the rules as well.
Wow.
And so you're talking about something that I have been emotionally passionate about working towards since I was yay high. And my opportunity is right here in front of my doorstep. And it's out of my control legitimately.
Yeah.
And so what that forced us to do is a lot of us were not able to enter the NFL that first year, and we
Mhm.
would had to find alternative routes in the meantime that would be able to either provide us with staying in shape, but also financially, because now we're going from graduating college, we've put getting our first job on the back burner because we think that we're going to get the opportunity to go play college football, and now we're being told this year may possibly be a wash, and so you're just kind of left in limbo. Um, so I reached out. Well, I was reached out to a couple other leagues, and I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that, but there are NFL programs outside of the NFL. There are professional football programs outside of NFL. It's just NFL is the biggest, and that's why we hear about it. But they have leagues such as the CFL, which is based out of
Mhm.
Canada. They have the European League, which is based out of Europe. They have arena football, which is an indoor football program. They have the UFL. So there are multiple leagues outside of there. And so I had never considered that, never did any research about that. I was told that I was going to be a pretty decent pick. So I was feeling pretty calm and secure and
Yeah.
solidified that. I'm like, yo, mom, go ahead and pack the bag. We move into a new house. But didn't work out like that. I was reached out to a team in Chicago.
Yeah.
What I did there is they said they had an opportunity that training camp would start. It's a great opportunity for you to continue to work out, train, and do what you love in the interim. And when the NFL decides to open up, you'll be there, ready in shape and ready to go. So in theory, it sounds like a great
Yeah.
pivot at that point in time.
Mhm.
From there, I review it with my agent at the time, my best friend actually, David Caldwell, who is also a former athlete at the William Mary. Me and him shared the same sports agent, so I'm kind of talking to David because he's been through this already. He's
Yeah.
currently with I believe he's with the Colts at the time. So I kind of need somebody to give me a little wisdom. I'm like, yo, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My parents thinking I'm about to be making it big. Friends are in my DMs thinking I'm up. I'm like, oh, bro, I don't know. Like, I don't know if everybody. I'm not gonna have the time to explain collective bargaining agreement. It's not my fault. Like, people just gonna cast their judgment immediately.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so without knowing those details and those particulars, I just said, all right, well, let's just continue to play football. Like, I can't get nothing can go wrong if I go play football. So I headed out to Chicago with an opportunity from the Chicago Rush, from an indoor football team.
Mm.
Uh,
Mhm.
and similar concept, they have a slightly different style of play, but at the end of the day, football is football, no matter how you do it or where you do it.
Mhm.
Headed up to Chicago, packed all my stuff, everything that my mom gave me, everything that I accumulated through college, put it in the back of my truck, put it in a U-Haul trailer, and I drove a one-way to Chicago in hopes that I'd be able to play football and then just kind of go from there. Headed up there and had a great camp, in my opinion. Had some entertainment with the Chicago Bears at the time, got to see their facility at Soldier Field. It was super dope. Snowing, never seen that. I'm from Atlanta. Get away from me. What is this? I'm like, oh, this, etc. So definitely got to see a couple different parts of the country that I've just honestly, I don't know if I would have ever been able to see them.
Yeah.
So I put my stuff in the storage room, and in my opinion, I'm arguably one of the better players on defense at the team.
Mhm.
But this is when I've learned two lessons about football. Once it becomes professional and it's paid, there's something introduced called politics. And
Mhm.
not everything is going to be based on who's the best,
Yeah.
but it may be based on things that are discussions that are happening behind closed doors that you're not around, that you may not be know of. So
Mhm.
I'm very green to this type of behavior. And where I come from in college, if you're good, you good, you play. If you're the best, you best. This is just how it's all been my mentality.
Yeah.
So, I have parents that my parents aren't really too involved into sports. They're I'm first generation Haitian, so my parents are from Haiti, thorough, full bred. They speak Creole in the house when they get upset, so it only comes out
They're the
when
real deal. They're real Haitian.
the real culture only comes down when they're upset. So for them, sports is cool, but for them, education is number one. And so
Mhm.
here I am doing something a little bit unorthodox
Yeah.
in their opinion, and support is going to come a little bit differently, but it's very hard to support when you don't know what you're supporting.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
I did have to expect that I would be attacking this journey of what I felt like as I wanted to do long term on a solo path. And even if not seeing or hearing their support, at the end of the day, your parents typically always want you to do what's best
Yeah.
for them. And they may not always know what that is, but that doesn't matter. As long as their heart is in the right place, you're going to have to channel how they approach you with that support.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So went out to Chicago, and the unfortunate truth is I got released and I got cut.
Oh.
And all that means is, Bryan, you weren't good enough, or we did not feel like you brought value at this point in time in order for us to keep you on our roster. And so I'm a little bit dumbfounded. I'm a little bit lost.
Mhm.
I'm confused. A lot of emotions going on here. faith is up in the air.
I'm sure.
Mentality is up in the air. Motivation is up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 20, 21, driving across the country, packing all my stuff with my little bit of money that I have. People are telling me I can't make it. You don't have a job here. This is all new to me. I've never been denied this much. And I could call my parents if I did. So slid over, and then something that another lesson, man. Look, through this whole process, it's going to be a lot of lessons that I've picked up that's created in me to become who I am today. So you'll kind of see how I've become this person based through this kind of trials and triumphs type of situation. But after that, I was released. Mind you, we're training, we're working out. I'm trying to make this football team, but we're not paid through this process. And so I've got a couple dollars, but I only had enough to get to Chicago because I was so confident that I would never be leaving Chicago.
Right. That makes sense.
And so I had nothing to worry about. And I still, to this day, still do things with that. I still jump out of the plane and build my parachute on the way down. Like still as an entrepreneurship, et cetera, I still move this way. But I was not able to afford to rent a U-Haul, put my stuff back in and take it home. So I packed up my truck as much as I possibly could, put as much clothes as I could, and I left the stuff in the storage, and I never went back for it. So this hit me a little hard because all through college, all through high school, my mom worked 2 jobs. She was a nurse, and she also did like some part-time cleaning of homes, et cetera, et cetera. She had a little business back in the day. And every time my mom went to the store, Walmart, Target, any of those spots, she would buy me things that she know I would need in college. And so I saw that like we're talking about toothpaste, toiletries, everything a college kid needs in his dorm room, in his campus. And I never used the stuff in college intentionally because I thought it was such a nice gesture of my mom when she didn't have a lot. She would always give me something. And so it was so hard for me to touch her stuff. Now I see how people become hoarders. Like it's not the stuff, it's the memory and the people attached to the stuff.
Attached to it,
And so I just kept bags of toilet paper and soap and things, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, because it reminded me of my mom. I was like, I'm dope for that. And then I had to leave that stuff behind, and I never saw that stuff again. And so
what did that feel like?
It taught me how to detach from things. Less, because you can get caught hoarding and holding on. But if you're holding on from the past, you're never going to let what's new in your possession. So So if there's anything that I would hold closest and dearest to my heart, it'd be something along the line with my parents, my family. And so now I'm taught a lesson that the closest and the person closest to you got to let them go. So now I'm driving down Route 66 learning lessons that I can't say I wanted to learn, but it is shaping me and sharpening up my skill set to become. Fast forward, I put enough gas, I'm driving home, I get another call. I'm excited. Agents say, we got another opportunity. Bryan, you're going to Pittsburgh. Now, it's still not the NFL, so it's not exactly what we wanted, but it's football, and this one got a little money. This one got a little TV time.
Okay.
So we're definitely moving in the right bunch. But look at that. If I didn't get released from Chicago, do I get an opportunity to play on TV for a little bit of money in Pittsburgh? So what I thought was right for me, I ain't know, but it wasn't. So I got an opportunity to go out to Pittsburgh, and that was a pleasant. I made the team. Let's go ahead and solidify that. Clap it up for that. But team met a lot of connections, met a lot of good teammates in Pittsburgh. It was paid, it was televised. I felt like I was back in my stride. So finished out the season there. Had a good season, made a little bit of bucks. They paid for housing, food, practice. So I truly felt like a professional. Like it ain't the NFL, but fine. I don't need the NFL. The NFL not right now. We're gonna grind until we get there. So after the season ends, I'm leaving. I'm on the phone with the agents. I'm trying to figure some things out. This conversation that the collective bargaining agreement and the NFL still has not been solidified. So essentially, the workers can't go to work, and the workers can't employ the workers, so we're still at a standstill. There's legal, there's argument, et cetera, and we're the casualties of this. And then so I'm heading back home to Atlanta. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't want to show my face. So what does that show me? That's another lesson. It shows you how to deal with people and things when they don't go your way publicly.
Yes.
You go into the corner and hide all the time.
But it's so different than things when things don't go right privately, right? When you have people asking you a million questions.
Absolutely. When things don't go right privately, you can do what you need to do. But when things don't go right publicly, now you have to show up and become a person that essentially you didn't know you had to be. So now that has become a thing. I have to look my parents in the face. I got to make sure everybody knows, look, I'm not crazy. I'm not, everything's okay. I went to William and Mary. It's going to be all right. I understood that.
You went to a great school.
I went to a good school. Like, give me a little grace to figure out what the next step is. You feel me? But headed back down to Atlanta, had a couple training workouts, et cetera. And then the next step was I got another call from a team in Pennsylvania called the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks. I think they're still here to this day, in indoor football league, so IFL. So we've gone from the AFL and we slid over to another team in the AFL. Then we just got a call from the IFL. So now we're on our, what is it? How many teams have been on so far? That's 2. One didn't work, one did work. We're heading to our 3rd team in Pennsylvania. Okay. I've got just enough to put gas in my car, y'all. So gas in my car, head up to Pennsylvania. They pay for us to stay. I think we make $250 a week working there. I don't care what I need money for. If y'all paying for food and stay, I'm not trying to ball, so I don't need no bread. I go up there, had a good season as well. And this is when I started adjusting my strategy on how I approached things. This is where I started using more of my mind and less of my heart and passion behind things. So what I started doing is I started calling the NFL teams myself. Now, it's possible, but this was the strategy. And this is, I don't even know if athletes do this to this day. It's one of the most genius things. And I don't tell people this often, but there's a way to reverse engineer the phone numbers of the coaches and the recruiters in the NFL. And what we did is I would go to the website. So let's just say you're in Tennessee, right? I'm going to go to www.titans.com. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the NFL website. What's going to be at the bottom? It's going to be their admissions link. It's going to be their contact links, et cetera. When I click on that, I can email somebody, right? Let's just say I'm looking for season tickets. What's that's going to expose? It's going to expose the domain of the NFL coach's email. So now I can see the last half of what their email is. Now, in order for me to find the first half of the email, what did I do? Well, I looked at how they strategized the admissions. So if somebody's name, the player personnel's name was John P. Smith, then I looked at the way they set up the emails. I knew that the name may have been JP Smith at TitansScarlets.com. So I said, boom. I just figured out how they set up the emails. And now all I need to do is figure out their names. Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia, it's updated daily. So there's somebody who updates in real life form when these coaches are fired or they move, that they transfer. Somebody goes up there and updates these Wikipedia accounts. So I would go on there and I would find out, all right, head coach, player personnel, recruiter, et cetera. And I found out all their names. I would go back and reverse engineer every single NFL coach's recruiter, linebacker coach, anybody who worked in the NFL. I had their email. I made a giant spreadsheet, had to be of over 150 people. Every single day, I called the NFL team. I said, hey, Jessica, this is Brian. I see how the Titans. Yes. Is Coach John there? She doesn't know who I am. She's like, who is this? Oh, I'm one of the players. I want you to touch base with him. They would give these people the phone. That's the hardest battle in the NFL.
I love it.
To somebody. And so now you're telling me that I've called and I'm on the phone with the people that need to give me the opportunity. So you know what
Yeah.
I started to do? I called them till I became a problem.
That.
It got to a point where people saw my number, they would pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Bryan, how are you today?" Jessica, the admissions, the secretary for the Raiders, the Eagles, the Packers. These people knew who I was going to call. So I called them, and I said, "I'm going to send you over some tape. I got some film here. I'm still training. I want you guys to know I'm here. I'm here. Like, these other guys may disappear. People may disappear with what's going on. I'm still present. I'm working out. I'm in shape. Here are my updates."
Yeah.
And so I would call and I would email. When I tell you, I was speaking to head coaches, Bill Belichick. I have these emails to this day, and I will never get rid of them. Head coaches of NFL teams that will be in the Hall of Fame responding to my emails because of that tactic that I did.
Yeah, it's smart. You did your research.
In my research.
You went right to the decision maker.
Exactly. So
cut through the red tape.
Cut through the red tape. So I knew that if I didn't go about it like that, they wouldn't know I'm existed. They wouldn't know I existed. And then after that, I would email. I had a script, copy, paste, and I sent the email to every coach, every email. Fast forward 2 years later, I'm working at a restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia here, and the NFL draft is up. And I gotta work now. I'm back home. I'm at mom's house. I'm still training, but I'm still working out, and I still got that vision of the NFL. I get a phone call or I get an email while I'm at work. Now, everybody in the restaurant knew I was training to get in the NFL, and I was hoping that something may change. I may get a call, et cetera, et cetera. But a little part of me had just kind of somewhat given up because I'm like, bro, this is 2 years later, bro. I got to go figure life out. Yeah. I get an email while I'm in the middle of serving a table. They said, "Bryan, we are trying to contact you. Where is your agent available?" I haven't spoke to my agent in a year. I don't know where he at.
What?
I look down at my phone.
Yeah.
My boss looking at me funny because I got a table to serve. He's like, "What you doing?" Like, I don't know why you got your phone out, but you about to get fired.
Right.
I slide down, I respond on the cut, and I'm just like, "Hey guys, like, yes, I'm still available. My agent, I'm not sure why he's not picking up." They respond back and say, "Can you contact us? We're trying to get you into training camp." I go outside, I call them. They like, "Yeah, we've been trying to reach out to you. We haven't heard anything. We got your film, we got your et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
We have to bring you into camp, et cetera. Are you still available?" I said, "Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna fly you up here in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah." Fast forward, I walk back into the restaurant. The whole restaurant is standing up, clapping, crying. They are in disbelief.
This is like a movie.
This is when I tell you the movies that you see with these type of stories, I lived it. I walk back, the whole restaurant is crying. People are ecstatic. My table asked, "Am I still going to finish their serving them?" Because we don't know if you're in the league or not. Like, a lot of went dry, and then that's kind of how that story went. So yes, in a nutshell, yes, I did get to go to play, but that path wasn't straight and narrow. It was a lot of X, Y, and Z, but the key was obviously perseverance and just staying ready for when your opportunity came, and it finally did.
Yeah, that's amazing. You should have like a documentary on the side of making things happen. I mean, because like you said, that is, and I think that we both know like a handful of people, you know, in the NFL, but like that is like the most unique story I've ever heard of somebody getting into a team. Like you are the personification of not giving up, right? Because you had even when you went to Chicago and they cut you, you could have easily been like, "You know what? I went to William Mary. It's a great school. Like, let me just get a traditional 9 to 5, you know, like you have experienced so much in the fact that you still didn't give up even after years after that. When they get that email while you're like serving somebody's table, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
What, I mean, you kind of touched on this too, but I mean, as you're going through like this 2-3 year journey at this point, like, how did your parents respond, right? Because obviously they had a very specific mindset on like the education and, you know, moving forward with your future. And like, you kind of had a few hiccups, like I said, where it wasn't such a straight line. what role did they play as, you were going through this?
I think they played more of a behind the scenes role.
Yeah.
Um, that material.
That's so sweet. So Dawn is actually my mother.
Oh, thank
My
you
mom.
for sure. So they played more behind the scenes. Look, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
most people that are around you that care for you, the unfortunate truth is they're going to try to prevent you from making mistakes or hurting yourself or going down the wrong path as much as possible. And
Sure.
what that means, they legitimately try to stop it. And sometimes that comes with friction, and sometimes that comes with a little bit more aggressiveness, and then sometimes you guys can't see eye to eye. So
Yeah.
um I think for sure I I can't say the support that I may have wanted, the way that I wanted them to show up, they showed up. And especially I'm more younger, I'm more naive, I haven't been through as much. But
Right.
to be honest, like I can't say that they were there as much as I wanted them to be. Like all I needed was somebody to tell me you gonna make it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was just so hard to find. Like you're talking about in a sea of when people claim they want you to do well, they want to see you do well. Like, why didn't somebody just call me and tell me, bro, just keep going? Like that's all I needed, bro. And it was just so hard to find because people started putting themselves
In the
in the
situation.
situation
Hmm.
and start making the decision for me. But I'm
Yeah.
like, look, if God put this on my heart and in my soul, like, then let me go find out it's not the one. There's lessons to be learned. There's a process. The chase may be the more important testimony than it is the prize.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
you guys prevent me from learning. You're costing me two things: our relationship, because I'm
Mhm.
not going to listen to you. But you're also costing us potentially, the things and the lessons that I can learn by chasing what it is I feel like in my heart. And what starts to happen as you grow older, you're
Mhm.
constantly told to go, like, to turn away from the things that your heart is telling you to chase. I
Mm.
keep adapting to that mindset as I get older. Anytime something gets hard, anytime there's turbulence, anytime that I second guess myself, I'll turn
Mhm.
away and pivot and go somewhere else. And
Mhm.
this is why, as we get older, we tend to get less confident. We should be getting more confident as we get older,
Mhm.
but we're going opposite because now people around us, whether or not it's subconsciously or consciously, are trying to prevent these things from happening to us. And we're missing out on the opportunity and the lessons that are needed that will shape us in our outlook down the road. We need the mistakes. You
Yeah.
can't keep trying to prevent people from making them. So I think I felt like that's kind of where my parents were at with it.
Yeah.
Their heart's in the right place. And as I've gotten
Yeah.
older, I have learned that and I've accepted that. But I can't say that back then it didn't bug me that, like, dang, like why my parents just can't call me or why they can't be there for me, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just what it's going to be. But that taught me a lesson:
Yeah.
how to be self-motivated,
Mhm.
regardless of the people around you were there. They showed up the way you needed them to. Now
Yeah.
you found a way to have that burning fire inside you be what guides you and pushes you, regardless in the world of people saying it's not the right way.
And
So
I think that's so impressive and such a huge life lesson to learn so early, right?
yeah,
Because we're all going to be told no at some point in life, and things aren't going to go as planned. And it's like it's easy to stay motivated when you have a bunch of cheerleaders, right? It's
mhm.
easy to stay motivated when you have a bunch of cheerleaders, but to still be so motivated and not give up and be relentless when the people you love are telling you no, even though it was well intended, and like, it's easy for those seeds of like doubt to get in there. So I think that it's incredible, and it makes sense even to like the next chapter of your life with becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was a good segue. And I think those lessons and all those things that we've even talked about thus far is
Mhm.
what put me into a place where entrepreneurship made sense,
Mhm.
building my own made sense, having the grit to do it on my own would not have been possible had I not gone through what I had been through to get to what I wanted back then. I
Yeah.
couldn't coach and teach my clients. I couldn't tell these girls what to do in the time of adversity, when something is hard, when something is difficult, when they feel pain. I wouldn't be speaking from the heart. So then who's to know if I'd be as a successful trainer, because it's not lip service. Now they're feeling my conviction when I speak, and it's because it's coming from experience. So that was the key.
Yeah. And people can sense that too when you're talking from theory versus like, no, this is my life. Like these are things that I've been through that I know firsthand. Let's switch gears and talk into that. Let's talk about the Misfit brand, right? It is incredible. You did many things. You had your own gym in Atlanta, personal training,
Still keep my
personal training. Like, let's talk about that because that was a huge journey for you. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, so I stumbled onto the fitness route after I'd say about a year and a half, 2014. I'm packing it up as far as football. So that's the end of that. I got released, wasn't sure exactly, and I said, "Look, man, I'm not about to go through what I just been going through for this football thing.
Yeah,
I'm good. Like I like football, I love football, but I don't love it enough to keep doing this. Like there is a point where you may need to pivot." And so I'm glad I had that also. That's a skill set, because some people keep running down the same path and you look up and they're still doing the same thing that's been hurting for X, Y, and Z amount of time, because that's what they're in tune to. That's what that's the culture they've created. That's the concept they've been doing. So me being able to make a big executive decision where now something that I know I wanted to do and I can do, I was finally okay with saying, okay, it's time to turn. So got into fitness, started training at LA Fitness. I'm sure they have them up there, but just I learned a lot through LA Fitness, just like setting up structure, scheduling, how to train, how to talk to people. I've worked out my whole life, but I can't say I knew how to tell somebody else how to work out. Like that's totally different. Proper technique, the human anatomy, the body, the kinesiology of things, et cetera, et cetera. So I worked at LA Fitness for about a year, and then corporate stuff coming down the pipeline. Clearly, this is something that's not mixing with who I am. It's not that I have a problem with corporate. The issue that I have with corporate, or it seems like corporate, in a lot of cases, the initiative seems to not take the workers' point of view into consideration when things are done. So underpaid, overworked, work this day, work this weekend. We need this done. We need that done. You don't have time for that. No vacation. And it's just not sitting right with my soul. So I'm like, it's not that I don't want to, I'm too big to work for people, but I can't keep working for these companies that make it seem like I'm not important. Like I know the value I'm working here. And so that's what made me go independent. I started my own fitness practice, and I knew that I was able to talk to people just as I'm doing now. So I knew if I could talk to you, build some type of rapport and a relationship with you from that, and your takeaway from me at that day is like, hey, that day was pretty cool. Then if I just talked about fitness, I'm sure I could get that same type of outlook from people. And then I started building my own independent practice. I'd say from 2014, 2015, I'm hitting it. A year later, my training's going great. I'm working at a facility. I've got multiple people, and I really took advantage of the social media pop that we had at that point in time, around 16. This is when Instagram just started doing videos. Remember, it was only photos.
Your
throwback Thursdays and your Monday, and before all that, when Instagram started opening up and doing an opportunity to have people post little reels or little videos, and that became a thing, I jumped on Instagram and I learned how to shoot with a camera, DSLR. And so I taught myself on YouTube for hours, just watching cameras, lenses, f-stops, anything possible when it comes to creating video footage. And then I started dropping reels and videos on my Instagram for my business, because the old school way of just knocking on doors and giving out flyers, I had done all that. It was just working very slow. And there was a huge opportunity we were in at that point in time with social media. And then fast forward, I was able to open my own facility because my gym, I had so many clients at the time. We're talking about over 100, 120 women coming in there. I'm making
Wow.
good bread, low overhead. I'm traveling. I said, I'm never going back to the job again. So that's how I kind of got into the gym thing. Spent a long time thinking about like the term misfit. I wanted it to be different. And
Yeah.
that's we stumbled upon the term misfit. It was a way for me to brand a word that literally represented being different,
Hmm.
but tied it into the fitness space too, because it
Yeah.
was fit. So then I said, "Ooh, like this is a nice little." Okay, I can see that, and
Yeah.
then that's how I even created the word misfit. It was to combine being different as well as training different, and
Hmm.
then fitness, all three mixed up in a bottle, and that's how you get the MISCFIT rather than MISFIT.
I love it.
Mhm.
So tell me even about that, like as you're expanding, like business is booming. I mean, you even started doing some celebrity training, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so fitness was really going good. I'm blessed that I was in a city like Atlanta.
Hmm.
The stars just kind of be here, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's all right. So I can't necessarily say that's on me. But like if you're in Atlanta and you're doing something pretty decent, you've got the world looking at you if you can pop out a little bit. And so I was blessed in that sense where I had took a business that I could bring value to celebrities because that's also difficult too. Like
Hmm.
to have be in the rooms with celebrities and train people and athletes and stuff, you have to somehow provide them some type of value for them for your name to even come across their desk. And so
Hmm.
that was the good thing about fitness. It could open doors from the richest of the rich to the most successful. It didn't matter who it was, they could
Yeah,
utilize my service. And so that approach allowed me to come across quite a few people. I think of like the B. Simones of the world who are just now so big on social media and in movies. I think about like the
yeah,
Heather McMahons. I think about who else? I think about I mean, so I'm talking about a laundry list of people that I
yeah,
have in my phone on just first name basis type of
yeah.
stuff. That training has opened the door. And then so I opened up my facility. You know, if the name was going to be different, the facility was going to be different.
I know
Um,
that's
so I opened an entire different concept. I continue to think about how I could just be different and open a fitness concept that was exclusively for women, because I
right.
think that was something that was missing in the market where women need to lift weights, no matter how you put it, cut
Yeah.
it, chop it around. Women should be lifting weights, but where do they have a place to lift them comfortably, safely,
Hmm.
and be
Hmm.
taught if they don't know? And those three things in a facility didn't exist, in my opinion. So I made it a place where women only. I didn't allow the address to be leaked out, so people couldn't even find it.
I love that.
So that
Yeah,
provided protection for the women as well too, because
yeah.
they're like, oh dang, we don't even know where it's at. And
Right.
then we did like a application. So now when people did hear about it, they had to apply. And you could only apply to the gym is if you were referred by a person in the gym. So now we protected the
Mm.
integrity of the people in the
Yeah.
space and protected the women because they weren't going to invite somebody they didn't want into the space.
Right.
When I
Yeah.
did it like that, when I caused all those little trickets in those processes to
Wow.
become a member, I think that made it even more sought after overall. So
Yeah.
we were the only invite, only studio, no location. I wouldn't tag it. I told people not to share where it was at. And I had so many women in the city that came across into that studio. And of course, men saw that and they was trying to get in there, but their
Yeah.
applications were quickly denied.
Yeah.
And we continued to keep it kind of booming. It was cool. It was a low light, very dim light, LED lights in there, and we played the most ratchet of the rap music possible. Um, and these girls bumping and jumping, and they absolutely loved that atmosphere.
And that's all nice too. I like that you had mentioned like that it was only women, right? Because I mean the gym is cool. I mean, I have a gym membership to a place I won't mention, but like it's nice to have that safety, right? Where it's like
Mhm.
you don't have to worry about, someone kind of lurking or like paying
Yeah.
too much attention.
Mhm.
So I think that that's pretty cool. And the fact that you even took an extra layer, not only was it just all women, but it's like it really became like an exclusive club because like you can't even just come rolling up in here. You got to know somebody,
You gotta know somebody to know somebody.
you got to know somebody to get in here.
Absolutely.
Got to
And
know
that was
your
key
house.
because now we could mix like now before somebody walked into the gym, I knew if they worked for Google. I knew if they were one of the CEOs of Home Depot's assistant. I knew their background. I knew where they were from. I knew their budget. I knew what they were looking for. I knew their insecurities. I knew everything before they walked in the door.
Yeah.
So familiarity and comfort was already eliminated because as soon as they walked in the door, Bryan knew who they were. So even if they weren't comfortable in an eye-to-eye contact telling me the things that they've been through in their life, cool, just put it on a sheet of paper, take a look at it, and when you show up, we'll get to it. And so that also allowed a sense of comfort for the women because now behind at their home on their laptop when they're filling out the app, they're a lot more comfortable looking at this big dude who about to yell and scream at me about getting in shape. So I got to know who they were a little bit more. And then when they came in, had a nice talk with them, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that was important. But that lesson of building that concept was learned from working at LA Fitness. By me working at LA Fitness, and I was taught how to go sell the product, sell training in the gyms. I looked at the concept I looked at the floor charts in the gyms and noticed all the women are upstairs on the cardio equipment. All the men are downstairs in the weights area.
Sounds about right.
That's about right. And you ask yourself, well, why don't the women just go to the weights? Well, look at all the guys over there. They're not going to. And why don't the guys go get on the treadmill? They need to be on there. So you started seeing how even in a space, a co-ed fitness facility, that's where girls go upstairs to the ellipticals, guys go sweat all over the weights. And now this is how gyms are set up.
Yeah.
Still to this day, an open gym concept, you are going to the same. Or you have the girls that do know a little bit about the weights, but they have to know about it.
Yeah.
You just can't go to the weight section and go start squatting. You're going to hurt yourself.
Yep.
So if you're not a former athlete or you had a training coach at some point in time, there are a lot more women that don't know what to do in that area than do. So I knew if I said, hey, ladies, this facility, we are a strength training facility. Will you come here to do what I know you're not doing at the other studio? So I knew I had no competition.
Yeah.
Most studios weren't focused on giving women an opportunity to learn how to lift weights. So I had no competition. I was in a league of my own with that.
That's so smart. And that's why everybody loved you. That's why everybody came to Bryan, you know. So tell me this then, you know, as we're in our 30s, 40s era, you know, college was a little bit of a ways back. What have you noticed that are like, and I know that everybody's health is a unique journey, but have you seen a common thread of like women in that age bracket of things that they really need to maybe give a little bit more focus to? Is it like exercise, sleep, nutrition? Like what kind of like data did you pull from that experience of training so many people?
I think exactly the three components that you just mentioned are, I would say, are the top three. It's just when you don't like, I'm just very jaded into remembering that I worked. My entire life was somehow revolved around fitness. And so when you're getting women that maybe weren't cheerleaders, maybe they didn't play field hockey, they were just amazing students and they went to an amazing college and they got an amazing job and they've done everything they were supposed to do. And maybe they don't come from the background. Maybe they don't come from their mom or their dad being into fitness, or their friends aren't into fitness, or et cetera, et cetera. When are they ever going to pick up how to do it? It's not going to happen. And so they may have attempted, they may have tried, and you may see situations where at least girls go run. Like they'll go walk, they'll throw on the headphones. I'm going to just be a runner today. Like I got my shoes, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's just a lack of knowledge. And I won't even say it's because the women don't want to know. I just think that fitness needs to somehow find a way to get more modern in their approaches to encouraging new people that are not familiar with it. And I put that on the backs and the strategy of the people that are in the concept as overall. Like we have to find a way to get people to get more involved so that they're not waiting until they get to that point in time, like you're saying, when we're getting a little older, because guess what? The bills are a little bit bigger. I'm expected to live in a bigger place, a bigger home, a bigger car. I already got people talking about where the kids at, why you not married. You're trying to find your man in all the wrong places. Like
Uh-huh.
you got a lot of things going on when you start pushing the late 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
and you ain't even asked for it. Like you've been doing the same grind and work and head down you've been doing since you was 22. Why all of a sudden 30 feel like something just hit you? All out of nowhere, and it's the expectations and the
Yeah.
societal norms, and now we've got social media, which is that much bigger than we were when we were back then. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things and a lot of information, but I do, if I could stress it enough, to just make that attempt to go fail, go try it out, go make some mistakes, go look around, go snoop around, just like you do when you think your man is messaging somebody else and you find out that girl
No.
the same way, have that same approach, and just do something. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes a little something.
That's so good. We got a little shout out for my sis Chloelle. She's joining us from Michigan.
Hey,
And I
Chloe.
saw Gregory Trimble joining us too. Gregory, you're in Oklahoma, right? I think he's in Oklahoma. I know that he is somewhere in the the Midwest? I think
Okay.
that's where he is.
Nice.
But as you guys are coming in, feel free to give a shout out and say hello. Let us know where you're joining from, and definitely feel free to watch the replay too. Yeah, but what you said, though, I mean, it's true that I find that people just aren't so black and white. Like you said, we've got so many different areas of our lives that we're dealing with, and we have the health and fitness, we have what's going on in society and like our personal lives and just the mental health thing. Yeah, he's joining from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good deal. See my cousin Marty. Hey, Marty, joining us from either Delaware or New Jersey. Not sure where you are today, but yeah, I find that really interesting. Also, if you guys have any questions for Bryan, also feel free to pop them in here. I mean, he is a wealth of wisdom, ex NFL player. He used to train celebrities. His expertise is training women, helping them stay in shape. And like he said, not just with the cardio, but also with the getting fit too, with the weights without hurting ourselves.
Absolutely.
Without hurting ourselves. Yep. But yeah, I mean, so like, I know that you're like a very self-motivated person. So my question is, are there like any books or podcasts that you listen to that kind of like just keep you on? Like, do you ever go to external sources to kind of keep the juices flowing?
Yeah, I'd say I naturally am, or like I naturally just like motivating
Yeah.
things. Like that is my entertainment. So when somebody goes home and watches a full season of whatever X show, I just watch stuff that's just motivating because
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want to watch anything else. So it helps that I enjoy that stuff and I don't necessarily go out to it because of motivation. But guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, I think are amazing with his perspectives. Alex Hermosi with his logical and psychological approaches to just life overall. Grant Cardone with his hunger and
Love
his
her.
space and his approach.
10X. Yeah.
Yeah, like those are just a few names just to name off the top, where when I see a clip from them, I'm excited. Like they get me
Yeah.
going. So I'd say like those guys keep me in a safe place. My boy David, I mean David Caldwell down in who's in Miami now too, but David, I mean, he's always posting stuff with OG and OG.com and just motivating clips, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the fortunate thing about social media that I love. When
Yeah.
I hear people who just say it's ruining us, it's rotting our brains, et cetera, et cetera. But if you use social media correctly, you get a free motivation in your pocket. Like
Yeah.
just don't be in tune with what the Housewives of Atlanta are doing. Don't
Uh-huh.
let that algorithm get up on your stuff, and you stay in the lane of just like looking at self-discipline stuff, self-reflective stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Social media is amazing.
I'm
It's
with you.
it's done so much more positive in my life than it can ever do negative.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that you hit that on the nail. It's like it really just matters on what is it you focus on, right? Because not everybody's social media experiences, toxicity.
Yeah.
tons of people to follow, just like you know,
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
that motivation and stay focused. We got a couple of questions. So Gregory chimed in. He said there's so much info and wrong info to the point it can be overwhelming to people. People may not know where to start. Yeah.
yeah. He's right, completely right. There is so much information, and now if it's right, if it's wrong, if it applies to you, are you a good fit for the information? Is there a timing? Is there context? It's a wealth of knowledge and work. I completely agree. I think by just keeping it super basic, but I do think like just going back and maybe try to understand why certain things exist will allow you to have the mindset to be able to interpret and be the ultimate decision maker of what's wrong information versus what's right. If you understand why or how it affects the body, then you can say, I don't know if that makes sense, or I don't know, et cetera, and may be able to use that. But the more knowledge you have at the end of the day, the more you can see when something is wrong. So you don't necessarily even need information to be right. As long as you're knowledgeable, then nobody can say anything wrong around you that will resonate with you.
I love it. My cousin Marty said, how do you maintain weight when going through menopause? What's the best exercise to do?
The weights, like we said again, I think that's the bigger thing, especially when you're hitting the menopause time, et cetera, et cetera. Like the weights are going to be the super key. The more muscles you have that are working for you when you're not working out, bone density, muscle strength, these are the things that over time, as you get older, deteriorate and you lose. So it's super important to incorporate, I would say, 2 to 3 days a week of lifting weights, and obviously doing properly. But there's so many basic entry level resources online, on YouTube, free resources that you can definitely get a nice, like, simple, digestible approach to that and do it properly and just stay consistent, which is the ultimate X factor that they're not going to tell you.
Awesome. She said she's going to work on that.
Awesome.
Another question. Someone said, not someone, my mother said, when is your book coming out?
When's the book coming out? I don't know. I'm not quite done writing the chapters. So look,
Okay.
it's definitely possible, but I got a few more chapters I want to make sure and perfect for you guys before I put it out on a book.
I love it. And then we'll have to do something to talk about it.
Sure.
I love that. Do you guys have any more questions at all? I know that people have been like jumping in and out and joining from different places around the country, but any questions at all as far as like fitness, entrepreneurship, motivation, just the grit that he's had to like land a spot in the NFL after years of tenacity and grinding to get in front of the right people, even being an entrepreneur for a decade. I mean, Bryan's done amazing things in the face of adversity, and he's never let that make him flinch.
Yeah, I think it's definitely built some calluses for me now that I expect something to go wrong. I expect something to pop. I expect something to go left when I wanted to go right. And now I'm able to detach myself from the circumstances now that typically back in the day would have pulled me emotionally in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I just look at it as an opportunity for this test to become my testimony. And so I look forward to being able to change the script, or change the direction of something, or turn milk into milkshakes, or turn lemons into lemonade, like whatever. Like, you could throw your best at me. I'm going to make a story about it, and I'm going to inspire people behind me to know that it doesn't matter what really happens to you. It's just how you respond to it. And the more and more you're in control of your emotions, as hard as that may say, and it sounds so easy from this cool, calm position, standing right here, I understand, but that is going to be the most important thing in order to stay on a path where you crack your code. Like, everybody's got their hands that they're dealt by God, and there's nothing you gonna be able to necessarily do, and what's for you is for you. So you got to master playing your hand, not getting caught up in looking at what are their cards or why they got that. Well, like, I get it, bro. We're human. We want the best. We want what somebody else's has if we think it's better. Like, these are mental conversations you have to have with self, and it's important to keep your mental health. So working out plays into that. Nutrition, fruits, vegetables, like these things play into that. That can be an attribute to you being continue to be motivation. It's also what you consume, not only visually, but what you hear, what you eat. All this plays a part in motivation.
Awesome. And that seems like that kind of goes hand in hand. I'm sure that you saw Marty's question that said, what's one technique is your go? Yeah. What one technique is your go-to for motivation and why?
What's my one technique is a go-to for motivation? I think your mom kind of initiated that, but like I'm still writing this book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm living the book right now. I
Yeah.
haven't sat down to write it, but I'm living this book, and I like these chapters got to be good. Like I
Yeah.
want them to be good. Like if I don't go through nothing like this, the book got to be nice. And I look forward to being in a position where I can inspire people, not only because I'm saying it, because there are a lot of people that have said a lot of what I'm saying, but if they ain't been through it, it's a lot harder for you to really be like, yo. And sometimes that's all it needs. Somebody's little testimony, somebody's little clip, or somebody's et cetera, when your story is inspiring, no matter how little or big you think it is. And so I think it's important to make sure that you get the outcome of that story that you want in order to continue and inspire. I mean, I just enjoy that topic. So yeah, I'm not done writing. I'm currently living a book. And then one day I want to be able to write a book about it. But I think that it's important that I make sure that this chapters that I go through some adversity, that I give you a heightened point in the story, that I give you some turmoil, that I get you some setback, and then I give you the lesson at the end, and then we close that chapter, next chapter. Like
I love it. Greg said, what was the defining moment that you said, all right, I'm focusing on football and I'm doing this, knowing this is what you wanted for sure?
What was the defining moment? I did an internship my last year at William & Mary with Northwestern Mutual. I believe it's some form of life insurance or just insurance as a whole company. And I did that for about 6 months. I did that throughout the semester. And so I got an opportunity to see kind of how corporate was before fully getting into that. We also have an alumni from William & Mary named Joe Montgomery, who's a pretty big name in the financial space out of William & Mary. And I was looking to hit a internship with him at the space. He's a pretty high up in the Wells Fargo and financial planning space. And I was what happened? I wanted to intern with him, and I got to see like a lot of athletes. I guess we had like a pipeline where the athletes could go segue right into that financial space. And I majored in economics, so it made sense. But I'm telling you, just something in my heart told me, although I may major in economics, I don't want to wear the suit and the tie and I don't want to have to go in at 9 and get off at 5. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but I don't know why. I just didn't want it. Something in my heart just told me that I don't want to do this the rest of my life. And so maybe the decision of majoring in economics wasn't the right thing, because look, I became a personal trainer. So maybe I should have went to kinesiology. And the only reason I even majored in economics is because of my dad. I wanted to major in college in kinesiology because I thought it was the easiest major.
Yeah.
But quickly did I learn in William & Mary, there's no such thing as one.
Correct. Not at William & Mary.
It was not one major, but so what it was, there were more people I knew from football in kinesiology. So I knew that I would have support when I was struggling. Economics, there was nobody on that field that wanted to do econ. And so there were a few, the smart guys, but I'm like, I don't know. But my dad always wanted me to major in econ. He loved numbers. I grew up watching the stock market and the NASDAQ, the S&P 500. Like, I grew up with that stuff on the marquee on the TV all day. And it's the same stuff. This one up, this one down, this one up. So I just felt like I was really fulfilling what my dad wanted, but it was tough, but it taught me, like, that's an econ degree, bro. Like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, y'all heard these stories. It comes nothing to what I had to do in college to graduate. Not even close. Like, I'm 15 years removed. Nothing has been harder than me than graduating from William & Mary. Nothing. Nothing. There's no trip. There's no traveling. There's no getting cut. There's no entrepreneur. Nothing is harder than graduating from William & Mary to me. So I'm built for anything at this point in time.
We're looking forward to the book. That's right. What William and Mary is I was just telling somebody the other day, it is the second oldest college in the country.
In the country, second to Harvard,
16,
right?
yep, second to Harvard, 1693. Maybe they have
Yep.
indoctrinated us a little bit. I feel like I was like freshman year, I knew all these facts about,
Yeah.
green and gold.
Yeah, we are definitely know enough about William and Mary to keep them relevant for sure.
Yeah. Did you guys have any more questions for Bryan? This has been so awesome just to hear his inspiring story and just, that we all, still feel motivated to do what it is. One of my favorite things that Bryan said was that learning to master your hand, right? Like we can't look at what our neighbor has or what, someone else is doing, but if we can become the master of what life has dealt us, really the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
My mother Dawn said, well done. Yeah, this has been awesome. This is great.
Awesome.
Part 2, we're going to be waiting for the book, Bryan.
I know, right? I got to get on that. Like I said, give me a couple more moments, a couple more pivots, a couple more changes, a couple more heartbreaks. I look forward to all of them. And then I look forward to being able to put them in a good book, audio book, and then be able to allow you guys to either listen to or read. But definitely, for sure, I could see that happening down the road.
We'll be happy to support. Well, I won't keep you guys. Again, this is the last episode of A Seat at the Table. It's been so precious to me and so sweet that I could share this moment with my ex-colleague from college. I appreciate you dropping so much wisdom on us. Even though Seat at the Table is ending, that doesn't mean that we can't do something in the future to talk about your book,
Right.
So, so I just want to thank everybody. And thank you for making the time for us, Bryan.
No, absolutely. And like I said, hats off to you, what you've done, just being a pioneer in multiple spaces. And I know with this journey, you've put on multiple different hats. Some you knew about, some you didn't, some you figured out on the way in the path. And I mean, this is nothing but a testimony to hard work and dedication from you and the amount of people that are being inspired by you doing the same exact stuff that I'm talking about. You're living the same way, you indoctrinating the same mindset, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is just only going to, I can see you doing something down this space down the road even more. So it won't be gone. I don't think it's going to be the end. I think it's just going to be a pause or whatever it looks like. But I'm pretty sure you'll find a way back to finding a way to inspire more and more people.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, but Gregory said boo.
He wants to keep it going.
Y'all are so fun. Well, there'll be something that I announced. Bryan's a little privy to it, but there's something that I'll announce in due time to you guys. So onward and upward. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Have an amazing weekend. Bryan, thank you for making the time for us. You're a busy man.
Absolutely.
Busy man. But I love you guys. Bryan, God bless you. And everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.